Hello, Michael again, and welcome to this new training video for WordPress. In this short video, we're going to talk about how to insert an image into a post. This will also work for inserting an image into a page. If you want to do that, the directions are exactly the same. And particularly in this situation, we're going to assume that you have already uploaded your image into the media library. So this is inserting an image into a post or a page that is already in your media library. I have separate videos that will talk about uploading an image and putting it into a post or a page all in kind of one step. In other words, you haven't previously uploaded the image to the media library. And another separate video on linking to external images such as sources from Flickr, something like that. So we're in this post, what is social media? And we want to insert an image that we've already put into our media library. Now, the first question is usually, where do you want the image to be in the post or in the page? And it takes a little practice to kind of get the hang of this, but the best piece of advice I can give is figure out which line of text you want to line up the image with. Okay? In other words, if I was to put my cursor here, that means I'm somehow going to line my image up with this line of text. And that means that this content would be most likely above that image. If I want the image at the very top of the page, then I'm going to put my cursor here at the very beginning. Let's say I wanted it at the bottom of the page. I could line it up with this line of text, or I could even put my cursor and add a new line and say I want the image here. So it really takes a little bit of planning, but ultimately what I do want you to think about is once you get it there, if it's not in exactly the right place, chances are you will be able to move it. And I'll give you a brief example on how to do that. But like I said, I just want to kind of keep this very simple, get it in there, line it up just a little bit, and you'll just need to take some practice and get the hang of it. I want my image up at the top, and that's usually kind of how I do it. I usually put the image at the beginning of the document. So I'm going to go ahead and put my cursor way up at the beginning here, and then it's going to ask me here, do I want to add an image, do I want to add a video, do I want to add audio, or do I want to add media, meaning I want to upload something. That's what I cover in one of the other videos. So in this case, I'm inserting an image, so I'm going to click on that, and this add an image shows up. And where I'm going to go, because it's already in my media library, is I'm going to click on Media Library. And what this is going to do is this is going to show me the list of files that are available for me to insert here. And because I chose the image link, it's only going to show me the images. It won't show me any PDFs or Word documents that I have uploaded to the media library. In this case, I have this image called Obey Social Media Specialist. This is going to go with the social media post. But I don't just click on it here. What first thing I have to do is I have to show. So click on show. What this is going to do is give me some additional information. Now, we have the title, the alternate text, the caption, and the description. This information was already something that we covered in the uploading content to the media library. Here's one thing I want to point out. If you change any of this information here, and you have already used this image somewhere else in your site, which you can completely do, this will change that information for that image in the other places in the site. So I really want to stress here that you want to get this stuff kind of set up when you uploaded the content in your media library and leave that alone. We also have now the link URL, the alignment, and the size. And this is kind of the more important information to what's going on here. The link URL is what you would like to happen if the user clicks on the image. Okay? You can either have it go to the post, in this case, or the page, if you were inserting this into the page. That's kind of self-referential. Basically, if they click on the image, it's going to reload what they're looking at. If you have the file URL in here, which is kind of the default, okay, that means what it's going to do is it's going to bring up a page that is just that image. Okay? So, for example, if you're putting in a small version of this image and you would like them to be able to click on it and get the big version of the image, you would use the file URL. If you want them to not be able to click on it at all, it's just an image, it's just illustrative, it's cute, it doesn't need to do anything, you can change that to none, and that will clear this out. You can also completely clear this out and type in any other URL you want. Okay? So for example, in this particular case, I need to kind of credit where this image came from, and I happen to know what site this image came from. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have it so that if they click on this image, it's going to go to the website where this image came from. Okay? That's generally a good idea if you're using images from other websites. Please be sure to pay attention to all copyright restrictions, by the way. I'm good on this one. Okay, then we have the alignment. Now, chances are it's going to default to none, which means it's just going to stick the image right where your cursor was. Probably not going to be the greatest situation in this point. Okay. Now, generally you want maybe none or center if you put the cursor on its own blank line. Okay. What that means is if you choose none, it's going to put the image right where the cursor was, which is probably going to be off to the left. Okay, your left. Or center it. It'll be centered on the line. Okay. The difference then being is here this left and this right choice. And if you look at the little icons that are next to those, what we're saying here is, do you want the image off to the left of the text or to the right of the text? In other words, we're talking about wrapping the text around the image. Okay? In this case, and this is just something that I tend to do, I tend to put the image off to the right. You're right. Okay? So I'm going to choose right. Then what we have is different sizes that have been made available to us automatically by the system. Do I want it thumbnail size, which is going to be 150 by 150 pixels? Do I want it medium in this case, 300 by 300, large, 640 by 640, or the full size, which is 1459 pixels by 1459 pixels? That's huge. That's going to take up the majority of the screen, if not more than the screen in some cases. Now, these sizes available to you, you'll always have thumbnail, medium, large, and full size, but the actual dimensions of the image will vary from image to image depending on how big the image was in the first place. Okay. So like I said here, I'm giving you this one example, but there's a lot of things you just kind of got to get the hang of as you work with different images. All right. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this at 300 by 300. I'm thinking I want about that medium size. We'll see how it looks. We can always fix it later. Now, I'm not going to talk about this uses featured image. That's just a function of this particular theme that I'm using, and you probably don't have access to that. And if you do, it might vary from theme to theme. So I'm going to kind of ignore that for right now. And I'm going to go ahead and click Insert into Post. And it's going to take a couple of seconds. And voila, we have our image in our post. And notice it is lined up, in this case, the top with this top line. And it's now off to the right, and the text is floating around it because I told it I wanted that right alignment. Oops, excuse me. Now, what if that's completely wrong? What if I want to change it? Okay, you've got a couple of options here. If you click on the image, you have two new buttons that will appear. The second one is delete the image. In other words, I've totally screwed it up. I don't want it here anymore. Get rid of it. I'm going to start over. Okay, and you can do that. Your other option is this edit button, and you'll notice if you don't click fast enough, those buttons will disappear. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Edit Image. And what this is going to do is it's kind of bring up a modified version of what we were just looking at. Okay, it allows me to change the alignment, allows me to change the title, the alternate text, the caption, the link URL. It will also allow me to shrink it just a little bit if I want. It generally will not let you get it bigger. I'm not sure why, but you know they seem to kind of tease you with that. So you know that 300 by 300 was a little too big. Maybe I'm going to shrink that down to about 70% of that. Okay. Now. And then go ahead and click Update, and you'll see, okay, that's a little better. It kind of fits more in that post. Now, you may have noticed I didn't show you something in there. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this again. Click on Edit Image, and go to Advanced Settings. And this is a whole bunch of stuff here, mostly dealing with what's called cascading style sheets and these advanced link settings. I'm really not going to talk about these in this video. Probably not in any of the videos. We're not expecting any of you to have an understanding and a working grasp with cascading style sheets. That's really advanced coding. If you do, you're welcome to play around with these things. I have been known to do that every once in a while, but even knowing CSS like I do, I think I've played around on the screen about once or twice. So I'm not actually going to do anything here. I just wanted to show you really quick that it was available. I'm going to go ahead and close that. So I've inserted my image. I pulled it out of the media library. I got it in there. It was a little too big. I aligned it to the right. I went in. I edited it. I could have changed the alignment. I shrank it down a little bit. Looks pretty good right now. So I'm going to go ahead and click Update to save the changes to my post. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and do a control click on this View Post, and that's going to pull my post up in another tab. And here's now what my post looks like, and I think it's much more colorful, much more creative than just that text was. So that's how you insert an image that you have already uploaded into the media library prior to writing this post. I want to stress here that this information works just as well on pages as it does on posts. So I will cross-post this video in the online training page under both posts and pages. And that's it. So, as always, if you have any questions or comments, just go ahead and leave them as a comment in the blog post, and I will happily help you out as fast as I can. Thanks for watching.